Hey guys, the Chicken is here. We're back today with another home gym video. In today's video, guys, I want to talk about why I would not 5-3-1. So we're going to do a little bit of a program, kind of review, not really a breakdown. 5-3-1 is not really a set program. It's kind of like a, I don't know, system more so. So I ran 5-3-1 for probably 2 years straight. This is the first program I did after doing like 5x5 stuff. So I think there's some problems with it, but overall, it's not bad. It's not a bad program. I mean, a lot of people run it and they make progress. So I think the thing is it's meant to be run kind of like indefinitely or forever. And I think that's kind of a problem with the program because sure, there's like periodization and like linear progression kind of built into it, but I feel like it's just not as efficient or like optimal, which I know is not like a word you're supposed to use anymore when you're talking about programming because nothing's really optimal, but I just feel like there's better ways to do it and there's easier ways too, I think. So start off with my experience. So I ran it for like 2 years, like I said, and I made some progress, but I think if I had just done something, a little bit more, systematic or like worked with a coach or something, I probably could have made better progress. I mean, it was okay, but I found my bench really did not progress that well. Squat and deadlift was okay. But I just feel like the way it's set out and it's kind of like aimed at, newer lifters or like beginner, intermediate, like just coming out of, I can't just add 5 pounds, 10 pounds to the bar every week anymore, or every workout rather. So the whole idea of 5-3-1 is you do a set of 1 week, you do a set of 5 reps, and then your top set, you do as many reps as you can. Next week, you do a set of 3 reps, and then top set, as many as you can. Then the following week, you do singles, as many reps as you can. And you follow that scale. And the thing is, he has you starting off so light, you're taking 1% of your 1 rep max, 80% of your 1 rep max, and using that as your training max. That's the idea. Which is fine in theory, but the way the program starts off is like you're using such light loads, such light weight, that it takes like a month or like 6 weeks or whatever to, and sure, you're making progress the whole time, but it takes you a very long time to get through to the point where you're actually putting the work in versus, doing like a regular style, like bridge block into a hypertrophy block into a strength block, over the course of 12 weeks. And you're constantly, working towards that. With 5-3-1, it's kind of all over the place. And the thing is, the whole program is kind of based around that day that you do your plus movements. So if you just have like a shitty day and your numbers are off, like if you just run the program like as it's designed, I think he says probably somewhere where it's like if you have a bad day or whatever, like don't, base it off of that, but move up the weights anyways. But if you run it like by design, then it's like that one day where you only got 1 rep or 2 reps when you could normally do 5 or 6. That sets up your next entire month of programming. I remember being really stressed out on those weeks because it was what would end up happening is like I'm putting all the pressure on, this deadlift set. This is what 3 weeks go into. And if I'm going to be progressing over the next 3 weeks of workouts, then I've got to get, my 5, 6, 7 reps, whatever it is here. And it's just, I feel like it's not the best way to gauge it. And also I feel like doing like AMRAPs or whatever people call it now, those sets, they're very taxing, and I found that it was very easy to get injured. So I got a lot of, especially on bench, I'd end up getting a lot of like shoulder issues from doing those, like max repetition sets all the time. Because I don't know, like the way I would do it is I would just go until like I couldn't, and like, the form would be horrible. And I know that's how you're not supposed to do it, but I think most lifters probably have that mentality when they're doing an AMRAP set. So I didn't like that aspect of it. I mean, it's fun. It's fun to max out and it's fun to, go balls to the wall and just all out on a set, but probably not really ideal for programming, especially if you're going to be doing that like all the time. So I think it does like a lot of things okay. It's got like good exercise variety and, that's probably the best thing about it is it's got you doing a bunch of hypertrophy depending on how you set up the accessory movements, which is there's a million different ways. I think they always touted the boring but big one. Like that's the one that I started out doing, and it was like sets of 10 across everything. It was like 5 sets of 10. But I don't know. I found that wasn't great for me just because I wasn't getting a lot of like quality reps in that 10. It was more like cardio based than, working the movement or working the muscle that, drives the movement. So I found that was kind of a problem with the 5 by 10 or whatever it was. Obviously different ways to do it. And I don't know. I feel like it's just it's too general. It's too generic. It's too like all encompassing and does like everything. And it's like conditioning and it's powerlifting and it's bodybuilding and it's, you kind of have to focus in on like what your goals are. That's what I found out over the years. Like you can't do everything all at once and excel at it. Even when you're just trying to increase your squat, bench, and deadlift, right? Like how often does this happen to you guys where, you're trying to increase your lifts on the main movements and it's like, squat and bench are going good, but deadlift's lagging, or, bench and deadlift are going great, but the squats, stalling. So, I mean, if you broaden that to, you're also doing hill sprints and cardio and you're trying to be an athlete and pull-ups and, I will say it's great for like general conditioning. I'm doing this from like a powerlifting kind of point of view. Because that's what my goals were at the time, was just powerlifting. It wasn't bodybuilding. It wasn't, off-season football training. I think it's great for that. I think it's great for athletes. I think it's, for improving overall conditioning. I think I was in the best shape of my life when I ran this because I was working construction. So I was on my feet all day, doing stuff. And I was doing this program where it was like, between sets of squats, you'd be doing 3 sets of pull-ups. So it's like you're constantly moving. Not constantly moving, but you're always, you're working the antagonists, like muscle groups and stuff like that. So I don't know. Overall, it's, it's an okay program, but I think if you have specific goals and you're not just kind of working out, there's better ways to probably go about getting those goals than doing a 5-3-1 program. I mean, programs are whatever. Like it's up to you what you want to do, what's fun. I think the most important thing about a program at the end of the day is it's not something that you hate, because I've done that lots of times before where you just grind out these programs and then by the end of it, like mentally, you're just done with lifting. Like physically, you might have overuse injuries or things like that. And it's just, I found it's not the best way to train long term. Like it's better to do something that's actually fun and enjoyable, which I think is why a lot of people like switch to like conjugate or like the West Side whatever style of training, just because it's a little bit more free and loose, which kind of goes against what I was saying. But it depends on your goals. I'm kind of just rambling on at this point. But you guys let me know in the comments. Do you have experience with 5-3-1? Do you like it? Do you not like it? I'm interested to hear your thoughts and opinions. So overall, I'd say it's a very good, general workout program, especially for like off-season athletes and that kind of thing. I don't think it's the best powerlifting program. I don't think it's the best bodybuilding program. I think it's okay for just, following a system and, learning how to lift and what your limitations are. So, in that sense, it's kind of good for the beginner intermediate, but I don't think it's the best. So there you go. That's my take. That's my thoughts. Hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe for more. We'll see you in the next one.